Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. So today we're talking about this custom moon art from Lunabricks. This is a free buildable, downloadable instruction that you can find on rebrickable.com. It's 2,286 pieces. Now those pieces do vary a little bit. I did some part substitutions just to make the build a little bit easier for me, so that part count will vary. Now, a few things that you will need to achieve this end product. You will need, of course, the regular parts. The instructions, they call for a modular system where they use 8x16 plates. Then the studs are applied to those, and then you build like a Technic frame to kind of house everything. To cut out all of those extra part uses, what we did was I just ordered 9 of the art plates from Lego's Bricks and Pieces, as well as the studs that I needed, all of which you see before you here are available on Lego's Bricks and Pieces. Now, you do have to get some of these custom tiles here. So these are custom tiles from Brickmania. They represent the patches for the Apollo missions. And what you have here with the dark bluish gray studs, those are missions where they did not touch down on the lunar surface. Now, anywhere you see a colored stud, those studs are represented on the lunar surface where those missions actually touched down and took place. So I think this build, not only is it educational, I think it looks really nice, especially from a distance. The further you get back from it, I think it displays really, really well. And it gives you kind of some perspective about the Apollo program. If you're not super familiar with it, this is a really good representation, a visual representation of what actually took place during those missions. Now, one thing we added to the map that's a little bit different than what the instructions call for is this fella right here. So this is the Apollo Mission Commander. This is a custom Brickmania fig that is sold on their website along with the tile pack, and it's a really, really nice minifig. About a $30 minifig, and the tile pack I believe is about $10. So if this is something that you guys want to pick up, I think it's a fantastic addition to a really, really nice art piece. Now let's talk price. So $10 for the mission tiles, and then 35 bucks for my Apollo Commander there. That puts me at about $45. I got 9 of the art plates. Those were about $3.50 a piece. So about $31 there just for the art plates. And then as far as the studs go, all of these studs are available on Lego's Bricks and Pieces. For the dark bluish gray, I used a variation of studs and tiles. The studs they did not have in stock, but the dark bluish gray tiles they did. Already had some studs from a previous art project, so we just incorporated those. And all in all, after I pulled out as many parts out of my collection as I could, the amount of studs that I had to order was about $50. So everything you see in front of you, it's somewhere in that $100 to $125 range, which is what a standard art set goes for. Now, in my personal opinion, I think this looks a lot better. I think it looks really, really cool than some of the other arts that Lego's producing at the moment. And this is a very, very unique build that you can add to your collection, and the instructions are free. Like I said, the link to those are in the description. Thank you, Lunabricks, for putting something so awesome up out to the Lego community. I love this. All right, so let's take a closer look at the build. The first set of tiles here, which are a representation of the patches, we have Apollo 1, 7, and 8 here. So Apollo 1 was the infamous fire that actually killed the 3 astronauts that were in training there: Robert Chaffee, Gus Grissom, and Ed White. So all 3 of those astronauts perished in Apollo 1. It pushed out all the rest of the Apollo missions until we get into Apollo 7. So 7, 8, 9, and 10, all of those missions, they kind of varied in what the missions were. And essentially what it was they would start with orbiting the Earth, then they would push that orbit further out to where they would do a full loop around the moon. Then when you get over into Apollo 10, They would go all the way out, do the full loop around the moon, then they actually would detach the limb, and then they would start the landing process, and then that process was aborted. That was as far as that mission went. And then Apollo 11, that is where we touched down on the moon for the first time, and that is represented by this yellow tile right here. Now we transition down to the bottom set of patches and these missions down here. Now again, that is a closer look at the Apollo Commander astronaut that we have mounted on there. And then the tile beside him is the patch for the Apollo missions. So the tile pack, it does come with 12 of the Apollo mission tiles, and then it has one for the Apollo program. So I put that one on some studs there so it would sit up nice and even. I think it looks really nice. But down here with the orange tile, we have Apollo 12. So Apollo 12 was struck by lightning shortly after takeoff. And then it didn't really cause any damage, but they did have some issues in the computer that they were able to fix after launch. And then you have Apollo 13 next to it. Apollo 13, they had some issues with their oxygen tank, and they were supposed to land on the moon, but they had to do what was called a limb lifeboat, where they actually used the limb as the lander to return back to Earth, and they scrubbed the actual landing. So very interesting there. Now, Apollo 14, that was the mission with Alan Shepard, and what they did on this mission, they brought back about 100 pounds of moon rock for scientific studies. They also took some samples, and this is also the Apollo mission that I said had to do with our rover here, because the rover has the golf club included, and on that mission the rover went up as well as that golf club, and that is where the famous story of Alan Shepard hitting the golf ball on the lunar surface. So that was Apollo 14. You can see 12 and 14 are relatively close together in the same area. And then for Apollo 15, 16, and 17, all three of those were to test different areas of the moon to gather different samples, bring different things back. They were tracking volcanic activity on some of those missions, and they really wanted to get soil samples to study the moon more. But, after 17 here, you do not have any more Apollo missions. The missions are canceled. So almost on every single mission, there was always some sort of technical difficulties, very, very complicated things. Now, these were very, very talented people that were doing these missions. So most of these missions still did have some level of success. They were able to touch down and return safely. And ultimately in the Apollo program, Grissom, Chaffee, and White in Apollo 1 were the only losses of life. But after this, NASA canceled the Apollo program because it was just too big of a risk. So, just a little bit of interesting information, if you guys are into space stuff, just a little bit more about the individual missions there. But let's get back to the build. What are my thoughts on this build? I think it's great. I think it's awesome. It looks really, really cool. I'm very excited to get this in the new Lego room. I think it displays very nicely again. And the price, if I'm going to spend anywhere between $100 to $125 to do something like this, a custom build for your Lego room, I think this is a fantastic option. And if you guys have the ability, check it out. Again, link is in the description below. If you guys did enjoy this video, drop a like. If you're new to the channel, consider subscribing and hitting that notification bell. Getting really close to 600 subs, so we'll be doing a giveaway soon. So stay tuned for that. Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.